Hi there, this is Laura Beth Culbert, Delusion Dispeller. I'm going to have a definitely focused room tonight. For once, I'm not coming on here saying, I don't know what to talk about. I do know what to talk about. It's a real life story, and it's a movie was based on it, known as Dirty John. That's the name of the movie. This is copyrighted. It's an article by Johnny Dodd and Christine Pelisic, I guess. And it is posted December 24th of 2018 in the People magazine. So I'm excerpting from People magazine, just so y'all know. I'm not plagiarizing. I'm just sharing this article information because, as I told you, I don't cover true crime. I don't have an interest in learning about criminals and the heinous things they do, unless it's a case of a possible narcissist, psychopath, something that's like right up my alley. Then I might cover it, which would happen to be this case. So let me post this link onto my YouTube that I just uploaded. My little description. Hang on. Totally forgot before I even went live. What did I call this? I don't even remember what I called this live. I don't remember what the title was, darn it. Here, I'll just copy paste this part and put it on there so people will know. Hang on, I'm just getting this ready for people to find me over on Facebook. All right, and now I'll put my tags. Just a minute. We'll put psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, marriage, divorce, abuse. There, that works. Now I'll hit the publish button.
Where's this animal that wanted inside, honey?
It was at the window, scratching at the window.
I don't know.
This thing does not like what I'm writing here. There we go. Okay, now we got her going on.
They're so cute.
I know, you're so goofy. All right, so we're going to be talking about a case that a movie was based on called Dirty John. I just actually learned about this, but I'd heard the words Dirty John flying through the air on the internet, and I didn't know what it was. I figured, oh, it's just another true crime thing that I'm not interested in. But when I started reading it, I realized that this definitely could fit into the category of what my, if you want to say, expertise is about, which is narcissistic personality disorder, psychopaths, sociopaths, and all that kind of stuff. So this is about a lady named Deborah Newell. And I'm going to kind of be looking back and forth from the article to you guys, or ladies, to talk about this. So Deborah Newell was a very successful woman. She just came to Southern California after a year volunteering with a special doctors group that was working over in Iraq, helping repair the war-torn areas over there. Do you need something? Raccoon again? What's wrong? What do you do?
Came storming in the house from the other way so I couldn't see him. And I was thinking of the raccoon, so it scared the living yum-yums out of me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now my chest hurt.
Okay, go rest. Anyways, Deborah Newell was coming from California, like I said, after a meeting with doctors in Iraq, helping repair the war-torn areas. She was successful. She was wealthy. She was an interior designer. And she basically had a lot of really bad situations in her life. She had a few failed marriages, like 4 of them, and she just really felt like her life was missing love. She had everything else, and she just wanted somebody to love. We all know that that's a ripe picking for a narcissist. Anyways, she met a guy named, last name is Meehan. He was 55 years old, and he went to work terrorizing her and making her life a living nightmare from the moment they hooked up. Now, here's her story, though. Okay? This guy was very crafty, as narcissists and sociopaths are. His nickname was Dirty John. That's why this is called Dirty John, because I guess the people that he was working around and his friends and stuff gave him that name. Okay, so, and there's interesting, like, red flags through this whole story, and that's what I want you to notice. She didn't know much about him. She didn't find out much about him. I want to warn you, if you meet somebody new and you want to hook up with them, please do a background check on them. Find out who they are, because you don't know in this world. There are some goofy, crazy people and downright dangerous folks in this world. You need to know who you're hooking up with. Don't go shacking up with somebody you don't know. This was interesting where it says the intensity of his focus on her was immediately intoxicating, quote and unquote, from this article that I'm reading. The focus on her was immediately intoxicating. So basically, you're talking oxytocin here, okay? You're talking about stirring up that love chemical, that bonding chemical that happens when two people hook up. So it was strong. They quickly moved into a penthouse. She rented the penthouse for him in a very fancy, nice place. And they got married, like, right away. Quickie wedding. Another red flag. Number one, that whole oxytocin thing where they say love is blind. My foster father used to say love is blind, deaf, dumb, and stupid. Basically, when you're intoxicated with that oxytocin stuff, you're not seeing what's up ahead. You're not seeing things as they really are. That's why they say take your time and get to know people in relationships. Now, I'm talking to myself too, because it took me 3 times to finally figure that one out. Oh yeah, definitely some pathology. Thank you, Christina. I didn't know exactly how old the article was, but I found it interesting. And it's definitely a representation of why you need to be careful who you hook up with. I actually have some videos called Look Up Before You Hook Up. Yeah, those are on my channel somewhere. Okay, so they quickly moved in, quickly got married. She couldn't wait to be with him every night. He would tell her how beautiful she was, tell her everything she wanted and needed to hear, talk to her about her day. However, behind the scenes, he was calling up her daughters, and he would pretend to be her mom. I'm sorry. He would pretend to be her, as in the children's mom, and text her children saying, jump off the balcony, blow off your head, and stuff like that in texts, pretending to be the mother, the lady that we're talking about here. Finally, her kids hired a PI to check out this dude, and exactly what they thought was the case. He had a major long rap sheet, and in fact had just gotten out of prison, like, very recently, before he hooked up with her. He was stealing narcotics from hospitals. He apparently was a nurse at one point and was taking the medicine from the hospitals, and he was terrorizing women that he met online pretending to be a doctor. Yeah. So she was scared, as you could imagine, and very angry. So she filed for an annulment, like anybody would. I want out, you know. But of course, he's crafty. He's not ready to let go of his supply source yet. And he begs her to understand that he's been basically framed. He is the victim of a setup, and he wants to go back into her life, period. It didn't last long. The lady, Miss Newell, flew from her home and went hiding. She got away from him and disguised herself, I guess, or something. And she hired a lawyer filed for divorce, took care of all the financial matters, and basically he told her, this evil guy, Meehan, said, I'm going to make your life a living hell. And she constantly was afraid, constantly looking over her shoulder. Now, basically, he had been defeated. He had a narcissistic injury at that point, or maybe a psychopathic injury. I don't know. By her divorcing him and taking whatever finances she got from him, that wounded him to the point where he just went into a rage. And he appeared at one of her apartment complexes and said, remember me? And started stabbing her with a knife hidden in a paper bag. She got the knife out of his hand and she started just stabbing away at him. And he ends up dying from his injuries. Basically, the deputy district attorney said it's poetic justice. The women he victimized so long, at the end of the day, he got bettered by a woman. That's a quote unquote thing again. Newell has not given up on love. She's just not interested in romance. She said it could have happened to anyone, and she wouldn't want it to happen to anybody. Very sad story, very troubling story, but so many red flags there, you know, the whining, the dining, the quick love, the kind of the secretiveness about the quick marriage. You know, apparently not many people knew that they had gotten married because they kept it a secret. I'm sure that was on his idea, you know, oh, let's just not tell anybody. They wouldn't understand. We don't know each other that well. You know, they wouldn't approve of it. Man, I have learned from listening year after year to my daughters about the men that I dated, the men that I married. Mom, you shouldn't date him. Mom, he doesn't seem safe. 2 times I was with guys and they were sex offenders, like still offending sex offenders at that age. And were wanted, were escaped cons, whatever. My one daughter knew how to get into computer systems to check out people's backgrounds. So she'd be like calling me up, Mom, where are you? I don't know what you're doing right now, but who are you with? And I'd tell her, she'd say, Mom, do you realize what this dude is? You need to get right out of wherever you are, get on a bus, and get back to your house. Get back to your apartment. She kept me out of hot water. I was not wise enough to make wise decisions at that time in my life. However, by the 3rd time, the current husband, you better believe I did a thorough background check and I knew everything that I was, as they say, getting into before we got together. And we dated for a 1.5 years before we got married. So it wasn't like a quick thing. We didn't rush into anything. We both started therapy immediately before we even got married. I told him we're both going to see a counselor. We had separate counselors. We had counselors together. So everybody was well aware and well accountable of what was going on in our relationship from the get-go. So no worries there. I covered all the bases on that one. Anyway, this lady, unfortunately, she learned a hard lesson and ended up really hurt in the end, like physically hurt. And I'm sure emotionally, she probably has pretty bad PTSD, among other things. Her body's got stab scars on it. And she killed somebody, so she's got that on her conscience. What a, you know, heinous thing to do, but you got to protect yourself, right? And heinous on his end as well. What a mess. So first red flag was rushing way too fast and that whole oxytocin thing, just going crazy, feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to be home with him. I can't wait because he tells me how beautiful I am. He tells me exactly what I need to hear. I feel so loved. You know, there's a saying, and people have said this many times, and I'm sure you've heard it over and over again. If it seems too good to be true, it usually is. Yes. When it's a little bit too good to be true, when it's a little bit too much whining and dining and caring and caressing and putting praises all over you, your little feelers should be up. Anyway, so that's that. That was the first one. The second red flag was the rush thing. Anything worth having is worth waiting for. There's another cliche that fits very well in with this. If somebody is worth having in your life, they are worth getting to know and finding out information about. Yes, they are. Don't try to rush into things. Oh, no, it was her. It was her that he attacked. It was Mrs. Newell that he attacked, his wife. Anyways, so yeah, you got to make sure you know as much as you can about that person. Yes, love bombing, exactly. Just like in a cult. And then after the marriage, the hiding part, the hidden things. And I always said in my earlier videos, it's the hidden things that stay hidden that are the most dangerous. So if you're in a situation and you're uncomfortable with it, you need to tell a safe person, hey, I'm with this person. I know you might not approve of what I'm doing with them, but I feel like something's off here. There's something, a little bit strange and shady about the dude or the woman. And keep people aware of it so they can keep tabs on you just in case, you just don't know. So the hidden stuff, definitely a red flag. And then going behind her back, pretending to be her, telling her children to basically kill themselves. That's like a mamo boyfriend going on there. That's like that mamo game, only in the form of a man. And he's calling your children saying, this is mom. I think you should go get that gun out of the cabinet and go blow your head off or jump off the cliff or whatever. No, warning flag there, big time. Don't keep going forward with that mess. But I think she's already married to him by that time, unfortunately. So it's kind of late to just say, oh, well, I'm not going to marry you if you're already married. So all the crazy stuff that he was doing and his past rap sheet that was like a mile long, posing as I guess he was a nurse, but he pretended to be a doctor online and was deceiving women and terrorizing them. You just don't know these days. Just make sure you find out about people before you jump into things and find out the hard way. That's all I can say about that. So sadly, this ended, in a very bad way, but maybe not. Depends on if you believe he got what was coming to him, like that deputy believed. But it's just sad. It's sad that, oh, I know they knew it wasn't her. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they were older kids, like teens or adults at least. But man, what a mess. What a mess. I've had similar things happen in my family to one of my children who got involved with a certain person, and the person turned out to be a psychopath. And she drove our whole family crazy. That girl and her whole family was nuts. It wasn't just the girl. Craziness, telling my daughter she was pregnant over and over and not actually being pregnant, and breaking her heart repeatedly, and because she was going to give the baby to my daughter and it didn't work out. So it was a big mess, and it turned out the girl was literally mentally woohoo. I don't know what you want to say, just a mess and scary. Still is scary to this day. Would not tangle with her for nothing. Anyhow, that's pretty much it, I guess. I don't really know anything else to share with you. I'm smelling funky things. What are you cooking in there? Smells weird. Honey?
Potato.
Well, something smells funky. Maybe it's the cat litter box or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share was this article that I found. It was kind of interesting. I did also learn about the Bever family. The 16-year-old and the 18-year-old that killed the whole family other than the two girls, 13-year-old and 2-year-old girl. Craziness. This world is totally insane. I swear, even just driving down the road with people is crazy anymore. They would sooner just cut you off on the wrong side of the road than let you be ahead of them. They can't deal with anybody ahead of them at all. I don't like driving because of that. It's scary stuff. Anyhow, who else in here tonight? How are you guys doing? I'm super tired, so I'm not going to make this a long chat. I'm very tired. I just thought I'd come on and share that little tidbit of information about the narcissist, possibly psychopathic person. Meehan, his name was, his last name. just to kind of give you an idea, maybe like a visual example, so to speak, of how that plays out. Bad stuff, very bad stuff. So be safe, everybody. I'm not going to stay long because I'm super tired and it's super late. But I got to work in the morning and I got a meeting after work, so I'm busy beaver tomorrow. So I need to get some rest. But y'all have a good night and thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm going to go post this up on YouTube probably now. And see you on the next live. Have a good one.